And I want to say, if I remember right, I think they're up here. Yeah, there we go. All right, Trembling Song. I do like code-in names. In fact, I like them quite a bit. Are you Coda's judgment come at last? So the code-in also have, in addition to me liking their names, which I do, they also have like a super interesting kind of like belief system. It's there's like a touch of Buddhism to it, but it's not Buddhist exactly. But it has that sort of that concept of karma woven into it in a sense. When they talk about balance, balance is a big thing to the Kodan. Um, it's very interesting. Anyway, I surrender my. I'm ready to surrender my blood and spirit. That's a bit much. All I need is your story, not your blood or spirit. My shame is my shadow. I caused a death by breaking a vow. Calm down, bro. All right. Tell me your tale. Like, all right. Chosen by my brother to take a long walk from Frostgorge Sound to Lion's Arch to be part of the ceremony. All right, cool. Friendly folk beckoned me to warm myself by the campfire. And while I slept by the fire, they must have tampered with my race's offering. If I hadn't stopped, I mean, come on, mate. So you stopped to chill out. Like that's is that really like that bad? Uh, oh, Coda has sent you. So this is, and I mentioned this a couple times. All the different races of Tyria have have their own concepts for like deities and a higher power, if you will. So it is not even necessarily a deity figure. It might be a system, such as the Eternal Alchemy, or it might be a deity, such as Coda. Um, they all have different visions, but whereas in the real, quote unquote, real world, like what I don't want to. I don't want to weigh in like I don't want to delve into everybody's personal religious beliefs, but most religions in the world tend to believe that theirs is exclusively true. And we don't really, depending on what you believe and how you perceive the world, you may not necessarily believe that there's any way of proving whether or not the various faces of the world are valid or not. But in Tyria, we have very clear evidence that they are. This is a world of magic, and we can see the eternal alchemy work, and we can see the human gods, and um, their influence in the world. Like these things are unquestionable in Tyria. So if we know that all these different faiths are true, but they're all different faiths, is that contradictory, or is there some realm where they do in fact meet and share some sort of I don't know. Like I doubt that ArenaNet has hired a theologist to deconflict the various faiths within the world of Tyria. Nor am I suggesting that they should. But it is an interesting thing if you like just want to go diving like headlong into the lore, as some folks do. There are definitely those folks who are into it. I'm not nearly as knowledgeable on all that as some of them are. There does seem to be like a group of people who've really turned the world of Tyria and Guild Wars 2 lore into like a real academic study, and that's super cool. I'm just not there. Okay, so back to Lion's Arch with what we have learned. We've tracked down all these missing cultural reps. They should all be on their way to Lion's Arch. And of course, we tracked down the Ogre cultural rep, who is dead as a doornail, assuming Tyria has doornails. They have doors. Logic would serve they have doornails as well.
I'll make an educated guess that these ingredients are all I need to fine-tune the Tassie box settings.
All right. Good. Look, fine-tune it. I recalibrated the Tassie boxes to detect a refined combination of the chemical compounds found on the crime scene. Fire one up and let's see what secrets are. I need another Tassie box because I forgot mine. So if I remember correctly, in season 1, it was actually an item that you like ran around with. Like you had a Tassie box in your inventory, and then when you used it, you would get this. Obviously, that's in the recreated season 1. That's not necessarily the case. So now we have our new here they are, the cultural reps who now showed up. Kasparak, Moralu, Astora, etc. All right, Astora, what's up?
This better mean I'm innocent because this isn't my color at all.
So what makes that better is that Asura actually have auras. If you've never created an Asura, when you create an Asura, you actually select your aura. Unfortunately, it's not very clear, and it kind of becomes an irrelevant choice during character creation. It's not something that's so powerful or contributes so much to the aesthetic of your character that's really a relevant choice. And that's a shame because it was a very interesting idea in terms of their world design and their creation design. But that's what that Silvari is referring to.
What is happening to Quaggan? Quaggan's colorful.
Completely irrelevant observation, but this does predate the introduction of colored infusions, infusions with visual effects to the game. So, like, that would be very interesting in the game at the time this rolled out. Now, to see a character like standing in the middle of Lion's Arch with like confetti coming out of their ass is perfectly normal because of all the infusions they've introduced.
Oh, glowing, shiny, I'm shining. Ooh, shiny, shiny, shiny.
Which is like the greatest achievement in any script's life, right? To be shiny.
Truth is revealed. The light shows the way.
So apparently the green glow then is indicative of what, Marjorie? Indicative of not having some sort of guilt, because Marjorie is disappointed by this. Okay, so, and I think that was unclear going into this, but it's clear now. Maybe we retry the other folks that we had previously tested it on. All right, cool. Azuri, the Asuran rep, still innocent, green glow. Norn rep, green glow. Yeah, right? I also could go for an ale. That's fair. That's fair. Human rep, Farley, good to go. Here they get that oddly intelligent statement, like, I'm not sure this guy's actually Grawl.
You're next.
You
Whoa.
must be kidding.
Ooh. All right. So we now know the name. Remember, earlier this was just like citizen or bystander or whatever, however they identified her. But now she has a name. Name's Mytrin. Mytrin. Bammo.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Okay,
Looks like
so
the
the electrical
Aetherblades
stuff instead of the green.
Helping herself.
Marjorie Delacroix. I'll remember that.
Mytrin, you're under arrest by Lion Guard authority. You will present yourself.
So much for discretion. Crew, it's time to earn your pay.
Oh no! So these were mysterious assassins before. Now we get the name Aetherblade, right? So now, less mysterious, I guess. Ah, I knew that was going to reflect. What a mistake. What a blunder.
Wait, is it over?
It is not. It is not over. Who said that? Be more observant, Ellen. That was either Ellen or Marjorie. Either way, I'm deeply disappointed that they were unable to tell that it is not, in fact, over. Is my dog actually doing anything? Well, let's merge. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. Because I'm a bad soul beast. I don't normally play.
Just one more company.
That's why. That's my excuse, and I'm standing by it. Alright. So this dude comes flying in, right? Champion First Mate Horic. So if you've not played Season 1, but you've done the Mytrin Fractal, then you will be familiar with Horic, right? We recognize him from our adventures in that Fractal. And of course, you would recognize Mytrin as well, because she's central to that Fractal. Now, the events of that Fractal have not happened yet in the story, so we will not discuss that anymore right at this particular moment. But this is our first introduction to Horik, who totes around a giant cannon on his shoulder, and off he goes.
We haven't seen the last of the Aetherblades.
Indeed. Indeed we have not. I don't know who's gasping, but it's freaking me out. Her name was Mai Trin, and she had us all fooled. Alright. Track her down. Let's do it. Wait, what? You're not gonna... What kind of, like, hardened private investigator, like, bounces just like that? Oh. Okay, well. Alright, that to me sounds like an excuse. Marjorie's fulfilled her obligation to Logan. She identified the culprit. That's what she was paid to do. Her job's complete. Things are going to get ugly fast. Is there a reason you know that? Or... Alright, so this is... This is kind of a... So this is not who Marjorie is anymore, right? So we see some character changes as time goes on, and that's okay. It's okay for the characters to kind of change and mature and develop as the story does as well. But again, this kind of speaks to the writing in season 1 being a little bit different than some of the other periods of time in Guild Wars. All right. We need to talk to Inspector Keel, find out more about this whole Aetherblade thing, because Marjorie and Casimir are now checked out. So Ellen Keel is going to be our primary point of contact, so to speak, if you want to use military terminology. Although I'm sure that's not exclusively military to say POC. So if we're going to stick with this Aetherblade investigation, then we're going to be working with the Lion Guard, which is Ellen Keel at this point. And fight back against... Alright, so... the other day, when I was doing the first chapter of Season 1, I talked about the idea of, like, participation bars in the story, and how I think most players really don't enjoy the participation bar thing. It doesn't feel particularly rewarding, but when they're developing this stuff, like, sometimes they just have to insert that kind of thing to control the tempo at which players advance through the story, because, you know, they can only develop so much, and players have to, you know, like the folks who the day that Heart of Thorns launched, or the day that Pathfire launched, they were intent on completing the storyline for that expansion. Like, you gotta kind of protect those players from themselves a little bit. Sorry, themselves. I do in fact speak English. You gotta protect those players from themselves, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna complete that entire storyline in an 18-hour non-stop play session, and then they're gonna be real upset that they finished the storyline already. Well, no one made you sit down at your computer for 18 consecutive hours. There's a whole myriad of things you could have done. Some of them productive, some of them completely non-productive. For example, you could just get drunk, lay down on your floor, and pass out. That is a viable option. It's really equally as productive as playing Guild Wars 2 for 18 hours. Or you could actually, like, learn a foreign language or something. I don't know, whatever it is you think is productive. But this kind of thing, participation bars, is a very clear and deliberate effort, right, to kind of slow those players down. But first, we're going to speak with Ellen Keel. Ellen, what's up? Am I a friendly face? I made this character with the intent of having a friendly face. So, good. Glad to hear. Looking for the Aetherblade base. That's a good thing to look for. Encoded messages throughout the region. Alright, so these Lion Guard who... Okay. So, two things happening simultaneously, right? Ellen has a limited amount of Lion Guard, because presumably they're still obligated. Remember from the core story, Lion Guard are responsible for manning this entire fortress, which guards the channel to enter Lion's Arch, It's like this bay here. I think bay is pretty generous given the size of that. So they still have all their obligations in Lion's Arch and Claw Island, as well as some of the outlying outposts around Lion's Arch. But they're also hunting down Mytrin and now searching for an Aetherblade base. And Ellen is only allowed to pay 20% overtime because she's on, government funding, and they're very restrictive on that kind of thing. So she's enlisting our help to try and track down the Aetherblade base. We're looking for these encoded messages and countering various Aetherblade attacks. All right, cool. What do we got here? Here are our clues. Did she just hand? We're literally standing in front of her. I guess she just handed us this letter. Dead drops scattered throughout. Okay. Fortunately, apparently, the moment we read that letter, we were diligent enough to circle those spots on our map. Now I kind of poke fun, but I really appreciate that. Like, this would be a lot more frustrating if we didn't have the green circle. It's not a thing that I would like jump for joy over. If I genuinely just had the open map, and I know these maps pretty well, having played pretty consistently since beta, like I know the ins and outs of the map pretty well, but at the same time, just exploring the map without any of the circles would be tiresome. So I'm glad they're there. I just can't help but poke fun at them. And the circles are plenty big enough to where we're still going to have to put forth some effort to find what we're looking for. And I 100% do not remember where they are. Oh, but there's one of them. Nice. We got lucky. That's what that was. All right. A clue. A clue to the hideout. Let's assess the clue. Let's read it for ourselves. Follow the edge of the cliff and hold your breath. Okay. That is a pretty ambiguous clue. But I suppose, in fairness, if I were leaving clues out for just anyone to find, and it was related to the location of a secret base, I would probably be like real careful how I phrase my clues, right? Like OPSEC, right? Operational security. All right. Next one, right there. Oh, man. I remember this one from last time. This one, I was not using a guide last time I did this. I was just kind of playing through Season 1 for fun on one of my other accounts. And this one frustrated the hell out of me for a hot minute before I found it. Fortunately, it was so frustrating that I very much remember where it is. So we'll go straight to it. Scars, scars, scars. We all have scars. Thorns as prickly as they come. Not a helpful clue at all. But it'll probably make more sense later when we have all the clues in their entirety. Now, there's definitely like a type of game where it would be super cool if we were forced to like interpret those ourselves. And so even after we had all the clues, it'd be incumbent upon us to like try to find the place based off those clues. There are some other collections elsewhere in Guild Wars 2 that kind of ask for that out of you, but this will not be one of them. Once we have the clues, the location of the base will be clear to us. Oh, there it is. That's nice, because I definitely did not remember where this one was. Alright. New clue. Fresh produce and blood tide Returning to base past sundown. Meet me by the old Hydra post for lift back. I don't know what that means. But we'll take all the clues in their summation, and then things will possibly make more sense. Alright, go team. Now, here's the nice thing. I talked about how I don't like participation bars. But as we experienced in Diessa Plateau, with the experience bar there, the other part gives us contribution. So there it was like hunt down the clues related to like the Order of Whispers clues in Diessa Plateau. Here it's find the clues about the hidden Aetherblade base. And doing that is giving us advancement on our participation bar. So that almost manifests as like an either or type situation. But from a storytelling perspective, like the clues are kind of like a fun thing. A nice opportunity to delve a little bit deeper in the story. The current music, by the way, which has nothing to do with the current story at all, is either very, very close to or identical to like pre-Searing Ascalon music from Guild Wars 1, from the first game. I think it's identical to. I think it's the same music. This one might be a great time because I don't remember where this one is either. And it's over a wide area, which is primarily land.
I feel good.
We put in all that work to get sky scale. Let's actually put it to use. Oh, is it way out here on the beach? Oh, wait, what do we got going on over here? Ah, someone fighting Aetherblade. And a clue.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Is this guy gonna stick around and fight the next bunch of Aetherblades with us? He's more than welcome to. Inquest parts coming in from the south should travel through Merchantman Strait to avoid suspicions. Now that actually is like pretty specific, right? We don't have enough of the map opened up though. I don't remember if Merchantman Strait. I wonder if that's this right here. I don't remember exactly where that is. We got one more clue left. Oh, now that we've come through here, let's see if it says Mournful Depths. No, probably not, because like that's the path to ore.
I feel good.
I'm making this harder for myself than it needs to be. No one to blame but myself. Let's see here. What about down here? No? I actually thought it was up here. I thought I remembered it being up here. Apparently that was erroneous. Oh, wait. What's that over there? Man, it's too bad I'm not Asura. I could squeeze under here a little bit, find it easy. All ships bringing in supplies. Sails should point northwest. Second path inside. So we got a few things there, right? We got Merchantman Strait. We got sails should point northwest. Now, I am not a mariner. I don't know that sails pointing northwest means traveling northwest. Does it?
Or am I amazing?
I'm not knowledgeable. Fortunately, Ellen Keel is going to decipher this for us. They've been in a cave in Lion's Arch the entire time. Ah, well, so all my speculation is for not the scoundrels. They're right inside Lion's Arch. All right, back to Lion's Arch we go. So just as the Molten Facility would look familiar to Fractal players because it is now represented by two different fractals, what we are about to experience now will also be familiar to Fractal players because it is also represented by two different fractals, Aetherblade and Mitrin. Not to give away too much, but honestly, if you've already played through those fractals, you already have a pretty good idea of what we're experiencing here. So it's, you've either played them or you haven't. It's either a spoiler or it's not. A fast incursion operation, like surgical strike, like that. Wow, yeah, it's very impressive. You guys, like, did you build a mock-up of the objective and conduct countless rehearsals on it? I feel like you probably didn't. You're just line guard. All right, good plan. And apparently I'm point man. I don't know how I feel about that. At least I'm not number 2 man. Like, real smart people know that it's better off to be point man than it is to be number 2. Or even smarter people than me know better than that, and I just made myself look stupid. Also a possibility. All right. They've mined the water. Swim carefully. Wonder if the safe route is the same as in the fractal. We're going to find out. I wonder if my stalker is going to set off any of these mines. Doesn't look like it. I seem to recall that being a problem during the original season 1. Is that minions and pets would set off those mines. But maybe I'm imagining that. I don't know. Ellen! How nice to see you.
Feel the fury. Violence, is it? I can do that.
If only the real world worked. I guess for some people it does, right? But in theory, we consider ourselves better than that. Violence, is it? I can do that. I can also do that. But we do strive for better. Oh, Ellen. You're my favorite. So I did vote for Ellen. One of the things that we don't get in the reintroduction of Season 1 is the election. There was an election. And I think it actually takes place after this, so I'm kind of spoiling a little bit. But the election was to determine the future of the Captain's Council, and Ellen Keel's one of the candidates, and players participated in the election. It was really interesting. Like, many interesting things came out of that in terms of how the community reacted to it and how it went, and it just the folks claiming that the election was rigged, like, there was a ton of those folks, which was really interesting because, like,
Time to do some real damage.
the immediate response of, like, people, I don't like how it turned out, thus it must be rigged. You didn't hear a lot of people who were happy with the results of the election, claiming it was rigged, right? Like all these things that, like, seem to have parallels, with, like, the real world. Like, it was wild. It was a fun experience. And it is something I intend, so I'm meaning to, at some point here in the near future, do, like, a quick video about, like, fractals that I would like to see them produce in the future. because we should be getting more fractals in the future. They've told us we're going to get more, so let's hold them to it, right? And when we get these new fractals, one of the things I would like to see is a fractal that was promised, or not promised, but was offered during that election, and then we didn't get because of the results of the election. I would still like to see that.
Time to do some real damage.
But yeah, the whole experience was pretty awesome. Good times. It is not over. They're literally shooting fireballs at us, Ellen. If there was ever an indicator, I'll tell you, like, all my experience in Afghanistan have taught me that when people are shooting fireballs at you, you should assume it is not in fact over. Now, I wonder, you know what I didn't try? I should have tried. I should have tried reflecting some of those. We'll wait for our reflect to come off cooldown. We'll give it a try. We got nothing to lose. I don't see any little achievements up down here, so I assume there's not an achievement for, like, never getting hit by the cannonballs. Or if there is, it's an achievement that doesn't pop up on, you know, a quote-unquote hidden achievement, which are really rarely, like, hidden, but... Oh, the cannons are busted. Alright, well... I'm sure better players than me have demonstrated that either you can or cannot reflect those, so... you know, I'm sure if you can, Teapot did it when he played through this. I'm disappointed that that entire fight Ellen hung out back here and watched. That's not what I voted for, Ellen. I expected more when I cast my ballot for you.
Let's see what this does. Citizen.
I was waiting for it to unlock it. Then I realized I had to talk to her to unlock it.
This is a sterile research environment. Leave at once. Very well. I have ways of dealing with contaminants.
So we definitely have like this idea being presented here, and even in the clues. Remember, one of the clues mentioned Inquest, right? And here we have an Aetherblade, but what's this guy? Veteran Inquest Assassin. So they definitely, right now, like in this little thing that we're dealing with here, kind of present the idea that there's collaboration with the Inquest. I'm not saying there isn't, but there will be times much, much later in the story when Aetherblade technology is presented as kind of an independent thing. Like they have their own their own kind of technological capability. Like they've developed some of their own tech, and it's its own kind of thing. It's unique enough that it would have like its own signature, right? To where to where you would, if you were smart to technology, you know, right? Kind of like a cybersecurity expert might look at a piece of malware and say, "Oh, I recognize like the methods used here. This is a type of ransomware utilized by whoever, right?" Well, similar to that, like in this game, we will encounter characters who look at technology in the world of Tyria and say, "Oh, I recognize this as, you know, Inquest technology or Aetherblade technology or whatever." So, oh, poor Frizz. You know, that's a heck of a way to go. To have your
I
own
mentioned how much I hate
big
those
thing fall on your head.
grubby Inquest.
I hate grubby Inquest. Alright, do we gotta come out here and go back? Yeah, we do. Yes, so it's much, much later in the game. Years after this, we will be given the I'm going the wrong way. We will be given the impression that
Sweet, sweet loot.
Aetherblade technology is independent of Inquest technology. You know, I probably should have paid attention to like these arrows that are literally built into the scenery as like an indicator of what direction to go. That would have been like smart gameplay, right? Why are all these Aetherblades cheering? I think they're like young infantrymen who are literally just like fighting in the woodline for entertainment. I think that's probably what was going on here. So I opened that chest a minute ago when I ended up going the wrong direction. There's actually a number of those hidden throughout this portion of this little kind of semi-dungeon type thing. Oh, and that's much like the Molt facility. This was also, if I recall correctly, this was not solo content. When it was rolled out, this was another 5-man instance thing that players were doing largely in pickup groups because they were wanting to complete it as quickly as possible at the time it was rolled out. Now, I do like when they reintroduced Season 1, I really like that they made these individually instanced experiences. I think that was much better for the game in 2022. Oh, wrong way again. I got another chest. I guess I should have come over here and messed with that. That presumably was the right way. Alright, I needed to turn off the lightning for Ellen. That's what it was. Alright, hurry up, Ellen.
Stay out of trouble. Feel the fury. I feel good. Wait, is it over? I could outrun a centaur.
Oh, a whole bunch of people.
Feel the fury.
I walked right into the middle of them like that. Man. So that was one of the things earlier I mentioned, like, when Aetherblades were first introduced, I found them to be more challenging than, like, core content. The Aetherblades with the big knockdowns and the Aetherblades with the reflex were two of the things that gave me the most trouble at that point in time. Because you didn't really see a lot of that in core game, right? Like, knockdowns or reflex, to be perfectly honest. Oh, whoa, I almost fell. There we go. And now I did fall. I'm making this hard. Doesn't need to be. Although it's a little bit harder because some of this other stuff like obstructs your view while you're trying to do this, which doesn't necessarily feel good. I don't know if that's by design or not. Do not know. Take your time, Ellen. Take your time. Oh, we're gonna have to come down here and like fight people so she can get through. Looks that way.
Feel the fury.
Ah, I got interrupted. What a disappointment.
Hurts, doesn't it? Let's end this. Follow me.
Now we should just about be...
Oh no, not another control panel.
Yeah, please. Please do the control panel.
Citizen.
Ugh! Scarlet's gonna have my skull.
What now, Captain? It'll take cannonballs to get out of here alive.
I'm dead either way. Might as well strap in for a decent fight.
You got it. I'll undock the airships.
I'll raise the gangplanks.
Those are things that pirates would do, right?
This
Undock
fucking
airships.
curiosity gets you.
Raise gangplanks. Sounds good. I like it.
Fury.
You gonna fire that or what? Oh, did he not fire the electric one? He didn't. I had the little thing above my head, so... Oh, there. Can I pull her through that? Run through it, Mai. Looks like she got at least some of the... Cool. Alright. This obviously is like a real close facsimile to the fractal. Yeah, what was I talking about? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that dialogue just a minute ago is the first time we get the name Scarlet, which is important, right?
All hands on deck.
It's going to leave us asking the question as we leave this encounter, however it may turn out for us. So my Trin has a boss. That's basically what that told us. What is the exact... Scarlet's gonna have my skull. What now, Captain? It'll take cannonballs to get out of here alive. I'm dead either way. Might as well strap in for a decent fight. So this person, Scarlet, is A, my Trin's boss, and B, is formidable enough or intimidating enough that that my Trin seems to feel that her well-being is in jeopardy for upsetting Scarlet. So that's what we got right now, right? Oh, I don't like that pattern.
We heal as one.
Oh, poor Hork. It's not easy. Not easy being a first mate. It's demanding work. It's like being an executive officer, which is actually like horrible work. I've felt bad for almost every XO I've ever had.
Enough! You've won! Next time, just ask a
Lion
little
Guard,
nicer.
take our intrepid airship captain into custody. Don't take your eyes off her.
On it, investigator.
I'm itching to blow that escaping airship out of the sky. Any ideas how to do that?
Are you asking me?
Citizen.
I will also sleep easier knowing my train is in custody. All of Lion's Arch will, in fact. So close that entire time. So this is like we will express our thanks to Marjorie Delacroix and her assistant Casimir. Really, because it seemed really contentious between Ellen and Marjorie, and I think it should have. I guess Magnus is going to come along and celebrate with an ale as well. We're welcome to join. Hey, that's cool. I'm 100% going to be there. But this is an interesting, like, kind of like little dialogue thing here that, like, that Ellen, like, wants to go high five Marjorie when it seemed, their interaction seemed, that did not seem like playful banter. It really felt like it was kind of, it seemed contentious. So, you know, like I've said before, my story playthrough is not an achievement guide because I'm the wrong person to be doing achievement guides, and these days I don't really care that much about achievements. But by the way, there is a chest up here. In fact, I thought maybe there were two in this ship. Maybe there's one below too. Maybe not. But there's at least one in here. All right. Oh, someone just advertised in map chat that they are buying accounts. I don't know why they would do that in map chat. I'm pretty sure offering to buy accounts in game like that is a violation of terms of service. They're probably going to get whatever account they're using to buy accounts banned pretty quick. I'm not an advocate of selling accounts like that. I don't know. If you want more accounts, like Guild Wars 2 is a really cheap game. Just buy another account. I have a number of them. Like I'm all about that. I fully support it. Why would you buy an account where someone else has already done the work? Like, that's sad, man. It's like those bodybuilders who inject like weird oil into their muscles to make their muscles look inflated, but it's not actually muscle. It's like toxic oil inside their muscle tissue. That seems really dangerous. Seems unwise. Alright, the tragedy in Lion's Arch has been put to rest, and a new mystery calls, or will soon, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure because, like, as I just discussed a minute ago, like, my Trin made very clear reference to having an employer or a boss of some sort. But we're going to take a minute to celebrate. So, and Keel and Magnus are going to swing by. So whether or not I think Keel and Magnus like should be celebrating with Marjorie, that would be a party, wouldn't it? And as we get to know, Ellen more over the years, like she does seem to be the partying type. We do get some pretty strong indications of that. Which I guess work hard, play hard, right? Like, good on her, I suppose. Man, that is quite a cutscene. All right, is everyone here?
Look who fell off his velvet couch and landed all the way down here. Let me guess. You came to give me a bonus for that last job.
No, I came to thank you. I heard you caught the murderer.
Well, you heard wrong. No stool stands for long on a single leg.
What are you saying?
I'm saying, dear boy, that I had help. Let me introduce you to my associates.
All right, Marjorie, not only did you have help, you did not, in any way whatsoever, catch the murderer.
Do I look as out of place here as that?
You specifically elected not to.
He's a broken toy that tumbled into the ruts. You're a flower. blooming despite the ruts. Oh, good. Phew.
Okay, so fortunately this... I mean, they last for a long time, right? But that level of interaction where Marjorie is like this weird, like, and Casimir's like incredibly stupid, that doesn't last. And their relationship starts looking like a lot more normal further down the road. All right, Logan, what's up, buddy? What are you? We know Logan, right? Because he was like our mentor when we were getting started in this whole adventurer game. Okay, I guess this is a reference to Commander of the Pact, but I'm pretty sure when Season 1 first... I don't know that we were already, like, constantly referring to the player character as Commander. I don't recall. I don't know if this is actual, like, straight from Season 1 as it originally was or not. But I kind of suspect not. This is now essentially the first name for every player character in the game. But I don't know that that was quite as common in 2013 when this originally rolled out, or not. But yes, Theo's family deserves justice. Oh, and also, by the way, that Char who immediately got murked, like, probably he deserves justice as well, right? I am also glad that Mytrin did not kill me. Yes. So when Marjorie's like, hey, mind if I call you for other cases as they come up? Do keep in mind that at this point in the Guild Wars 2 story, we have successfully vanquished Zaitan and do not really have like a full-time job. Like, I guess the commander, the player character, like, is pretty busy, like, helping defend human settlements from centaurs and defeating ghosts in Ascalon and keeping the Flame Legion and Inquest and bandits and whatever at bay. But this, yeah, might as well, because I kind of am like semi-unemployed. It's a gig economy, right? A bazaar. So this is again like a festival, an event that was inserted that is not going to be part of our Season 1 playthrough. But this is also like a yearly event now, is the Festival of the Four Winds. And it was super cool when it rolled out. And I mean, it is good content. It's just, after 10 years of it, it's kind of less cool. I think it took a few years off. It was like 1 and then like 5 years off, and now it's like 5 consecutive years we've got it. Something like that. Someone can check my math somewhere, but something like that. So, like, this is more like the Casimir we know by this point in time. Like, not stupid, but a person who cares and wants the best. Like, kind of like a kind heart. I think Casimir is always very much presented as a kind heart, and I do appreciate that. This very first chapter when we meet her, though, kind of almost makes her look a little stupid, and I'm not a fan of that. Not because I'm, like, really hung up on the character of Casimir, but because I don't think it's like these hyper cliched characters that we kind of got in this chapter aren't really very good storytelling. And I think a little bit more developed characters that are that kind of give you more of a spectrum of personality that's better storytelling. We all work together on it, Casimir. She talked for almost a whole minute about it. A whole minute. Yeah, like, we never get any of this from Marjorie ever again, as far as her being like super secretive or not. Like, that doesn't really end up being part of her character. So we will get some character development for here. This statement will be both like put to the test and like we'll get a lot more of that, but not necessarily in a negative way. Like, that will develop further
We're
going forward.
gearing up to replace Ashford. His second died a few weeks ago in that whole Molten Alliance uproar.
So there will have to be a council election.
That's right. And I want you to go for it.
What? I don't have that kind of wealth, and I'm not a ship's captain.
Then you'd better get creative. I put your name in. And I commandeered the abandoned Aetherblade airship for you.
I...
That's the kind of fast thinking that made me choose you.
So what does that actually mean? Because there's like she stammers and he says that's the kind of fast thinking that made me choose you. Is what he's actually saying there that he needs someone? And by the way, all the reasons that she gave for why she shouldn't be elected, is she just kind of a pawn for Magnus? I don't know. There's an argument to be made there potentially. Under any circumstances, that dialogue right there, like that hints at the election, which again we won't get it when there was no part of the season 1 reintroduction that gives us that election, but it was a cool thing when it happened, and there were some negative things about it too. They sold votes in the gem store, which they should not be doing anything like that again in the future. That was a real bad look. But you could also get like votes because votes were like an item. You could also get them on drop from enemies and stuff, and that's how I got all my votes. I did not buy any in the gem store. Shame on you if you did. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Ellen, how you doing? Couldn't have done it without you. I don't think that's the last we'll see the Aetherblades. Presumably not. What about my trend? She's being held in Lion's Arch.
This next riff is my favorite.
Can't say where, though. Anyone could be listening. Wow, that's super secretive. They'll interrogate her before the trial. Is she safe? Should be. She's persona non grata among those in Lion's Arch and Kryta, but we'll bring her to justice. All right, good. Magnus, what's up, buddy? I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. Say, hero to hero. So he's been watching like Wood and Potatoes and Teapot. What do you think of the Inspector? Keel, I like her. Do I like her? I voted for her, so I guess I did. She did good in the South Sun fiasco too, which again we don't get in the reintroduction of season 1. But yeah, I'd like to hear that sometime. I almost wonder if I'd like to hear that sometime was like a specific line that was added for this, because that wouldn't have played nearly as well like the first time season 1 rolled around. Oh, and we get to talk to the bartender again, who, like, I don't remember the bartender being a thing ever at all. Super weird. Okay. So that little exchange in the bar, though, does represent the end of the Sky Pirates chapter. Whoops, wrong thing. In season 1. So we are now 40% through season 1. And of course, this playthrough I'm going to have to break down into a couple videos for YouTube purposes, but it looks like more or less these can be kind of knocked out each in one sitting, or we have been able to so far, and we're plugging right along with season 1. So we met Rox, we met Bram, now we've met Marjorie and Casimir, and we discovered that the Aetherblades, in addition to, because we saw the Flame Legion thing, Flame Legion and Dredge collaborating, but now we've also seen the Aetherblades as kind of a big baddie acting in conjunction with Inquest, so we got a lot going on here. And still remains to be seen if there's something that's going to tie this all together, or if it's just a mishmash of lunatics rampaging all over Tyria. So we will look to get a little bit more of that, see if we can get some... In my line of work, we would say, we're going to look for some fidelity on that, right? We're gonna look for some fidelity on that, or try and gain some fidelity going forward, and get to the bottom of those things. So thank you very much for joining me today. And here in the next couple days, we'll try and get the next chapter of season 1 knocked out. Have a good evening.